asked ChatGPT what to build in The Sims. Firstly, I had to set some parameters. I asked, I want to build a house in The Sims. Can you give me a style of house, a budget in simoleons, and a brief description of the people who live there? And ChatGPT, well, being ChatGPT, of course, it delivered. It said, sure, I'd be happy to help you with that. How about a contemporary style house with a budget of 150,000 simoleons? The people who live there are a young couple in their early 30s. They both work in creative fields and value a clean, modern aesthetic. They enjoy entertaining friends and family and often have game nights or dinner parties. They don't have any children or pets yet, but they're planning on starting a family in the near future. The house itself has clean lines and a simple minimalist design. The exterior is mostly white with pops of color in the landscaping and front door. And then it went on to give me a full layout of the house and tell me some details I needed to include. So let's just say I had a bit of a challenge ahead of me. I would say I've never been afraid of a challenge, but I absolutely have, so that would be disingenuous. However, I think I can handle this one. So whenever I think of contemporary style houses, I always think of these like flat roofs and very blocky type buildings. So it didn't take me long to plan the layout of the house's exterior. It's also just a very different experience when you actually have like a game plan to go out of. I know some people like to use actual real-life floor plans for their buildings, and I tend not to do that. I like to just build from my fantasy, but this time it was kind of like having a floor plan already. Like I knew exactly what type of rooms I needed to include, and I knew what I needed to put on the outside, and just all these sorts of different things that I already knew just because of this description that ChatGPT gave me. However, ChatGPT is an AI language model. It doesn't actually know how to play The Sims, so there were some things that I decided I needed to do a little bit differently. And one of those was the fact that it said that the front door had to be a pop of color, and I was like, that's just not enough. I needed the windows to match. Otherwise, it could very quickly look super bland in The Sims. So for those of you who don't know, ChatGPT is an AI language model developed by OpenAI. It works by simply logging into the website with, I use my Google account for instance, and then you can just chat away with this really smart language model. But the thing is, ChatGPT isn't actually smart. It works with a lot of different algorithms and it learns by doing, and we don't actually know how AI in general works. But they can easily fool you. Like if you don't know anything about AI and you chat away with this, you might just trust every word it says. But the thing about ChatGPT is sometimes it will just make up the sources. You'll ask it something and it'll say, oh, well, I read it in this piece of paper article that was developed by these people and none of that exists. So you have to be very careful when playing with AI that you don't trust every word it says, and you need to get your information from actual real life sources too. However, I think it's so smart because it helps me a lot with some of the things I use in my field. I am studying to become a multimedia designer, and one of the things I'm doing is I'm learning some different programming languages. And I love it because I can use it to give me personalized answers when I need them to explain very difficult topics to me. Learning programming often requires reading a lot of documentation, and the thing with documentation is sometimes it's just written using so many different technical terms that I don't know. So when I'm trying to learn something new, I will need to know all these different terms that I don't know yet. And so I can just make ChatGPT explain it to me like I'm 5. It's amazing, and it's also really great at bug finding and all these different kind of things. It can even write a lot of lines of code for you. I've heard some people use it to write entire websites. But you need to be careful because it might not take important factors such as accessibility on the web or sustainability into account, and even things like it might just write code that doesn't work or isn't validated by the standards we're using. However, the more we chat with it, the smarter it becomes. It even remembers snippets from our previous conversations. So if I was to go in there and ask it to give me another house to build in The Sims, it will remember what it already told me and I can ask it for a different one. Also, if you want me to ask it to make a different one, I can definitely do that. This could be a really fun series where I can talk a little bit about different AI language models, or just AI in general, or even just talk about The Sims but have the prompt come from ChatGPT. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below if you'd like me to make a series out of this. But anyway, as you can tell, the interior of this house is really starting to come together. I decided to really lean into this idea of them being super entertainers and always having friends over. Actually, I thought a lot about these Sims and how they're probably still really close with their friends from college. They aren't quite ready to start that family yet, as it was talking about in the chat. but they're still taking the baby steps. That's also why I have this second bedroom upstairs trying to slowly turn into a kid's bedroom. I thought that the woman in this relationship would be a painter, and I thought it would be really fun if she was like the one who was trying to paint the kids' room and had all these different swatches and ideas already up on the wall and just trying to decide. That's why I even put some toothpaste on the floor to pretend that it was paint tubes. But for now, the room is still a game room for them and their friends to hang out and have a lot of fun and still enjoy this child-free life that they're still living for a little bit and aren't quite ready to let go of. Then for the garden of the house, I was told by ChatGPT to keep it really simple with very low maintenance plants and just a small vegetable patch. Obviously, I'll take any chance I can get to use the landscaping from Island Living. I mean, what's more low maintenance than those pretty cute low bushes from that pack? I can't even, like, people can have any which opinion they want on Island Living, but that landscaping is my absolute favorite. I love it so much, and I just love the world in general. We're not building in the island in Solani, but I can never stop talking about it. I love it so much. It's probably one of my favorite packs. Also, just because who doesn't love playing as a mermaid? I don't know. I do. But yeah, we're actually already kind of nearing the end of this video. I think artificial language is such a fun and interesting subject, and I'd really love to do more of a deep dive on it in one of my videos where I talk a bit more about the ethics, the pros and cons, and how it can save lives and also take them. So if you're in any way interested in this, I'd love to do a deep dive another time. You can let me know down in the comments if I should do it. And also, if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about, I'd love to do these kind of like more interesting talks during the videos where we dive into different topics. So if you have any topics you'd like me to talk about, don't hesitate to put them down below. I promise I will get to them, and I love to do some different research and then, do a video on them. And also, of course, if you have any suggestions to what I should build, I'll also do those. I already have a few coming up that are suggested from other viewers, so I'll be excited to add even more to the list. And if you like this kind of content, you're always very welcome to subscribe. I'd love to get to know you more. And otherwise, I'll just see you in the next video. Alright, bye!